August 1992, Manchester United are bottom of the Premier League table. That was the first season of the Premier League, and they lost their first 2 games of that campaign, but went on to win the title. As things stand, though, they've lost their first 2 games of this campaign. They have a goal difference a moment as Manchester United start the long journey home along the M4, or given its proximity to this station, the M40. Brentford with 13 shots compared to Manchester United 15. Brentford, though, had 7 of theirs on target. They covered 109.4 kilometres compared to 95.6 for United. They made 90 sprints compared to 65. The pressure in the final third maybe tells a story of its own, and that is when you compare the cost of the two sides. 424 million for Manchester United, which is almost 8 times as much as the cost of the Brentford squad at 55 million. By Gary Neville, who's made his way down from the gantry. Gary, hard work, applying yourself, just making life difficult for Manchester United. Is that about as damning as it gets for United, the fact that they said we could just beat them because we work harder than them?
Yeah, I mean, Manchester United, these players have proved under 3 different managers now that they don't work as hard as the teams that they're playing against. And how long have we been saying in football that, you know, hard work will beat talent when talent doesn't work hard? That Manchester United team don't run hard enough, they don't run fast enough, but they are absolutely drained of all confidence. They're struggling badly, and they have been now for 12 months, and they're not being helped. And maybe some would say, well, they don't deserve help, they've got to help themselves. I get that. But I've been in struggling teams before. Been a coach of a struggling team where you see that a team's suffering and they need something, and that's got to come from above. But today was a new low, you know, and it seems that continually Manchester United can surpass their previous lows. And when is the lowest low going to come? Because the reality of it is, this is really, really bad.
The temptation is always to focus on the team who's credit, which we have to do to Brentford. And when we show the goals, we'll go through exactly what they got right. But Manchester United, do you feel that they created their own problems, Jamie?
Absolutely. I don't know if we can see the graphic at the start, just before we come out. And this is the most damning thing for me. Roy Keane touched on this last week about how far you have to run. This team doesn't run fast enough or far enough. 109 kilometres Brentford run. Manchester United run 95. Now, that for me is just not good enough by any stretch of imagination, because you can't always play great, but you can always run around. Now that is so damning for this Manchester United team. I don't care who the manager is, I don't care who the owners are, that has got nothing to do with it. That is running for the shirt. That is a disgrace from their point of view. And if you're the manager, you go into the dressing room and you show them that, I would be so embarrassed as a footballer, because it doesn't matter about talent, how much that team costs. You've got to run around. You've got to win 50-50 challenges. And when you're 4-0 down, he would have learned probably more in that second half who wants to be at this football club with him. Now, he made mistakes, and we'll talk about them more, the manager. But from the players that started and finished that game, I don't think I've ever seen a more abject performance from a club that I would regard as one of the biggest in the world to play like that. And I had bad times at Liverpool. I was at Liverpool when I think the last time they won the league, and I was there for a very difficult time. And it's sometimes, you know, you get a lot of stick, you get stick off pundits, you get stick off everyone, but you've got to run around, you've got to show you care. And I just don't think they showed they care today.
Karen, we'll get your thoughts in just a minute, but Jamie, you're talking about the work rate from the Manchester United players, and as measured by the distance that they run. Now that can't necessarily be levelled at David De Gea, but he was very much at fault for Brentford's first goal. Let's hear from him. He's with Patrick Davison.
Well, David, I think it's worth making clear that you asked to do this interview, you wanted to speak. What do you want to say?
Of course, it's just to take my responsibility today. I think I cost 3 points to my team today, to be honest. It was a poor performance from myself. Of course, then after the first mistake and the second, it was very tough for the team to keep playing, and it was a horrible day.
Did you just feel like that first mistake took the game down a completely different path to the one it might have gone down?
I think so. That cannot happen, to be honest, in professional football. Mistake like I made, that's for sure. Of course, we should react better, but at the moment that we are living now, it's tough every time we concede a goal. So I should have saved the first shot, and probably the result will be different.
I was going to ask you about the second goal as well. Is that pass in there what the manager's asking you to do, or if you had your time again, I guess you're going long?
No, it just depends of how the game's going. Sometimes maybe I have to read the game better and kick it long. And I try to play maybe when I shouldn't play to Christian. But of course we always try to play. We always try to have the ball. But sometimes, like today, they press 1 against 1 to the whole pitch. So I should read better today.
I know you're being big, you're fronting up, you're taking responsibility, but does the fact that one mistake from yourself ends in a 4-0 defeat, does that show how fragile you are as a group at the moment, how fragile that confidence is?
Of course, we are not like all the teams. They concede 1 goal and then they win 5-1 or 6-1, so that doesn't matter if they made a mistake. This is why I think I cost today 3 points, because it was an easy save and it was 1-0 for them, and I feel it already. The team was going down, and of course, like I said, we have to react much better and be capable of score goals at least. And it was a poor performance.
Does it just feel though, after a really promising pre-season, like really easily the scars of last season have been reopened?
Yeah, I think it's too easy to play pre-season when you play for nothing. Then when you have to play the games that matters is when you need bravery, you need to be more consistent and be a proper players. In my case, it wasn't the case today, so I need to keep working as much as I can and just head up all together, stick together as a team and keep working. It's the beginning. We have a lot to learn, a new manager, new players as well, so it's a lot to improve.
Lastly, you said a lot to improve, have you any idea how you turn this round?
I'm not sure, to be honest. I just think teams are improving a lot, everyone, and it looks like we are nearly in the same page. But to be honest, it was a good, like you say, good pre-season, but it's not enough. We have to show in the Premier League games when it's the games that matter. So we always say the same, but stick together, work even harder than we are working, try to learn as quick as possible what the manager wants, and just play for this badge, play for the club, put our lives on our games.
Thank you for coming out.
Thank you very much.
We must remind ourselves, United did the double over Brentford last season pretty comfortably, and there was so much talk about second season syndrome, as we heard from the interviewer there. There was no sign of it, clearly, against Manchester United today. In some respects, was that the opposite from what we saw from United in terms of their energy and their tactics, I mean?
Well, Frank, for them to be promoted and play the way they did, finish almost mid-table, one of the best, well-coached side, one of the best teams on set pieces. They play a lot of long balls, a lot of direct balls. They're hard to play against. They know their strengths. They got a good spine to the team, and they pose a threat going forward. So they played like they did last season, and Brentford were ready for Manchester United today. They knew how they were going to play. They knew we were going to try and play out. You said it there, in the hard work and the work ethic and the intensity. They were ready, and United couldn't live with Brentford at any point in the game. And I'm just surprised by look. There was no fight to get back into the game. No tackling, no aggression, no. That's what football at this level is about. Competition. That's how you make it. It's about competition. Forget the tactics. Me and him, we play against it. It's a competition.
Yeah. And
I got to win that. And if I win that, and then there's football, that's fine. But you gotta win the battles, and they didn't win any today.
But Quentin, where do you put that down to? What do you put it down to? That lack of not winning your individual battles?
That's down to the players. Everyone's got to take responsibility for that. For the manager, the players, personal pride. You go onto the pitch, you do not want to get beat, as Owen just mentioned. Whoever you're playing against, you're not going to beat me today. Your passing, take pride in your passing. Tackling, running back. This should be all normal for Manchester United players. We shouldn't even be sitting here having this conversation. So already that's alarming that we have to discuss that. And then the other part, you're going forward in the attacking half. We've got players there that can do it. Marcus, Sancho, obviously Ronaldo has done it all. But you expect them to ask that happens. It's part of life. But you fight.
But it begs the question, Owen, what's been going on during pre-season?
Yeah, but pre-season is pre-season. Pre-season is like being good on the driving range. And then you go out and smash the ball over the golf course. It's not the real case. You're there to get fit. Look, everybody's kind of working on things, and they look good in pre-season, but this is the real deal. And they weren't ready against Brighton, and they weren't ready today. So I think we were all positive and optimistic Erik ten Hag, look, he's a super coach and he's done an amazing job at Ajax. But these 2 games have definitely not gone to plan. It's probably the biggest understatement. And I don't know, all of a sudden now the confidence it was down from last season and it's carried over. And I think we're all hopeful that it's going to be positive change. We haven't seen it, and today was humbling, to say the least. And I don't know how you can turn around that so quickly, because they just look like the confidence is just gone.
Quentin talks about, in your day, the pride of wearing the United shirt. Should they still be proud to wear that United shirt?
Look, it's an absolute privilege and an honour to wear that football shirt. The history. Forget about...
Is it weighing heavy on them? What is it?
Yeah, it's probably weighing heavy. They've gone through a tough time. But we've all been there as players. We've all had terrible games. You know how you get through it? You work, you fight, and you can compete. Forget about... football is about competition. Forget about the tactics and all that stuff. You got to win your individual battles. That's what it's about. And they're not winning any. And the only way you're going to get through it is if you push through it and you get to the other side. Even before the game, I said, hopefully they win, but I just want a performance.
Yeah, because you said at the start, when I asked you, are you confident of seeing a reaction after the Brighton game? And you said, I'm not sure, which actually speaks volumes, perhaps, of where this current United squad is.
Well, no, I was hopeful. I was trying to be optimistic. I'm tired of being critical and negative. I want to be positive. But when you watch that, what are you supposed to say? You can't sit there and say, heard the boys in commentary saying, were there any positives? No, there wasn't any.
We looked at each other. We brought on Malasai, the second half. We looked at each other. He's the only one who had a reaction. It took a kid to react and shout at his teammates. Come on, we need that. It shouldn't take a kid. That should happen from the players anyway, amongst themselves. Keeping that standards, having accountability for your performance, and that team spirit. You want to see that. I said through pre-season, United need to have a team. Still, it's not a team. We had to go with each other when we played. Not because just for fun, but we knew the standards. We wanted us to keep that standard.